We are bringing you the show from one of the best automotive displays you can see in the entire country. It's called Move. This thing is unbelievable. It's been around for about 18 months, best part of 2 years. To everyone involved in this thing, congratulations. We've been lucky enough to go to auto museums all over the country, and this, believe me, is the best. Not one of, this is the best, because you've got everything from the cool bikes to cars to trucks. There's wonderful celebrations of radio and telly over the years, I'm telling you. As I said to my missus before, if I die and go to heaven, this is heaven, and who knew that it was 2 hours up the road from Melbourne? But certainly Dan Andrews Melbourne can be hell for many people, certainly taxation-wise. All right, so I wanted to explain to people, because so often you see in the man cave, you've got a whole bunch of stuff around of my cars that I like, and Peter Brock and all the cool stuff. I'm the only magazine, literally, I still physically get sent, Unique Cars magazine. I love old school cars for a bunch of reasons. And they're actually on display in this very facility, because I think that cars and trucks and boats and all that stuff, apart from the engineering and the design, they tell stories. They're little time capsules about families and communities and cities. Like, say, a school bus where you might have met a friend on your first day at school and you're still best friends all the way through your life. You may well have moved house in the back of Dad's Kingswood, which of course at the time had more ashtrays than cup holders, which is the way that we like things. That is an incredible car. If I could just put one in my pocket, that'll be the one that'll go missing from Move here a little later. Then there's incredible sort of moments where people have gone to school formals of recent years in a classic car from the past, or maybe at some point in time you remember the cool uncle or yourself being able to get around in something like this. That has a record player in it, by the way. And then, of course, there is the industrial history of Australia that sadly, and manufacturing story of Australia that is sadly missing. The incredible cars where the fancy people used to have the Premiere while the rest of us had the Kingswood, or maybe learnt on the Gemini. But then there's, of course, the stories about the factories from the EH and all the way through. And in fact, one of the last remaining prototypes of the first Holdens to ever be made, which was sent over to the US to double check, is in this very facility. So if, like me, you love your cars, but more important, you love the stories of those cars, please make sure that you come here. But as we gather here tonight, Shepparton is a community, just like many others in Victoria. When horrible things happen, the connections to the people who it may well have happened to kick in pretty quickly. And we want to send our thoughts to the regional community here in Victoria after 4 people died this weekend, again, because as beautiful as cars may be and as great stories as they might be, they can, of course, result in the end of very innocent lives. So I'll say this, as somebody who's hooned around plenty in his life, for God's sake, slow down. Take care of each other, because you can drive the best way in the world, but if somebody else is doing something stupid, you could end up in a world of trouble. Here's what the police said today.
But the people we really need help from are the people using the roads every day, because they're the ones who can control what is going on. They're the ones who can limit the carnage. And it's to those people that I make the appeal right now to do something before you too either suffer road trauma, or, as we've seen some terrible examples over the weekend, you will know someone who does. Families have been ripped apart. A community has been ripped apart. It cannot go on.
So strength and love to the families that are affected. But again, a reminder to everyone, just settle down behind the wheel, because it can mean the end of everything and so much heartache for lots of different people.